So, welcome to Valhalla Lite, our little corner of the internet where liberty thrives, prosperity can blossom. Today, as always, I have with me Alex and a bag full of market longs and shorts. Disclaimer as always, everything discussed here is personal opinions and we cannot be held responsible for what you do with the information. With that out of the way, welcome Alex. How are you?
Uh, Exhausted as always on a Friday night. But
Yeah. Been a good and productive week?
yeah, I was in Denmark this week
Yeah.
at work, so I got to see that side of the theoretical part of fishing or factory farm fishing,
Yeah.
simulation of how nets work in the sea.
That was specifically like an institute where they do simulations or?
Indeed, indeed.
Cool.
So they're called Syntef. And well, they live a little bit off government subsidies, but there's also they do sell a lot of like information and research and technology um, um, to the chain of value. But I don't know what their budget looks like, to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
got this awesome app today, or yesterday actually. You like scan the label of your wine, and it like brings up the wine as a profile, and it lets you it shows you what everybody else in the world rates it as.
Yeah.
Super useful when you're in the store, spending 3 hours in there scanning every single bottle to see what's the best available.
I'm pretty sure my stepdad is addicted to, if not that app, a similar app. Like every time he's at the supermarket, he spends like forever at the fucking wine section with his phone.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sure it works for also beer. I know I have some family members that have one of the where after you pour a beer, you're supposed to take a picture of it and then rate it. And then after you rate it, other people's reviews come up. So it kind of makes you participate.
But
But
can you really
I'm
rate
not.
a beer in the same way that you can a wine? I mean, sure you have homebrew and all that, but I don't know. Is there really the same kind of like? I feel like that's the difference between like rating a cigarette and rating a cigar.
No, no. That's blasphemy, dude. You obviously don't know anything about beers. I would say the beer market is way more mainstream than the wine market. Wine market's got a little bit of a snobness to it. Beer, anybody is welcome to participate, and there are so many varieties of different small combination tweaks of flavors, and even like ingredients from parts of the world. I mean, it's amazing how much difference you can get in different types of beer, or even the same type of beer, but two different manufacturers.
But I still feel like it's the reason you can rate wines is because they're produced in batches. It's not the same with beer.
I absolutely disagree with you. I mean, obviously, if you buy a Heineken, that's a normal Pilsner. I agree with you, but there are some small breweries that barrel age their beers, so they become they sit in those old whiskey barrels, so they attract a lot of the flavor from the whiskey and the barrel itself.
Yeah,
And
oak.
because they sit for many years, uh, technically a lot of water vapor is released through the barrel where the alcohol stays inside, so it becomes stronger. And those types of beer are almost the same as the wine production, where they're batches and they're labeled on the year and what is specific about it. So they
Yeah.
would be like a just like a wine.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like, again, personally, I guess it's to do with the whole production process and the rarity and the batching. I just personally I wouldn't put the same kind of, I don't know, weight or just seriousness into rating a beer as rating a wine. I feel like they're two
Yeah.
completely different, like, I don't know, things. It's like the uniqueness is like everything that counts with the wine. The fact that this is this batch made with this fucking, dro with this fucking grape at this fucking year with this type of climate and this I don't know. I just feel like it's, it's like so specific what like, and that entire batch has that entire like specific quality now, and that's a quality that you can't replicate from year to year.
No, I mean, you're definitely right, but I would definitely say it's the same with beer. I mean, you can't replicate, especially some of these aged beers. Nature does its thing. The ingredients do their thing, the yeast does its thing, and it just becomes unique. And even the artisans that craft the beer, they like to put their twists and turns and signatures into the drink. And a lot of these breweries have gained quite a big following, almost like loyalty, especially in America. My relatives over there tell me this is huge, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, times will prove me wrong, but I don't know. Being a teetotaler myself, that's something I don't have to concern myself with, thankfully. So, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, cheers for you and your tea.
indeed, indeed. So, I don't know. Just want to get it right into the nitty gritty.
Sure, man.
Feel like I did the honors last week. So,
Unless you have something interesting to tell me. How was your week?
no, my week has been fairly uneventful. I took some short days because of my back, but other than that, not much has happened. No,
I
it's
see.
pretty much the same old in the tech industry.
Are you getting into the Dutch real estate market?
I wish it's no, but
That's your short. So you wish you were getting into your own short?
well, it's see the thing is I'm shorted in the long term, but that's because they're crushing it long term, but short term you definitely want to get in there because right now you can get something that soon won't be available, so that increases exclusivity.
Mm.
A Swedish investment firm I read today spent 1.4 billion euros buying up investments here in Amsterdam.
I swear that's what I sent you. There's a
No, you
Norwegian.
sent me Peter Thiel. That was Peter Thiel. The one you sent me was about Peter Thiel.
Are you sure that was?
Fucking everyone is buying, because then I also have the article with Blackwater buying 500 million worth
Yeah,
of property.
yeah.
So
I
I mean,
think you're
all
right, man.
these regulations that are coming out, everyone's like, well, fuck it, we're just gonna buy every single fucking piece of property before these regulations go through.
It's pumping a bubble, huh?
Yup, very badly. So I mean, if I'd been able to get in last year, then I would have totally been pro the market for a little bit. But in the long,
This is not Peter Thiel. This is a Norwegian real estate investor who's also getting in. This guy is huge.
then maybe it was Peter Thiel I read about today.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Guess you're right. Short, long term, because it's
Yeah,
going to be inflated.
yeah, indeed, indeed. So government tries to fix something, and before they
Blow
even get
back.
to the point where they can fix it, it is now like 3 times worse.
Ah,
So yeah,
could have told you so. There's a
unfortunately.
basic libertarian principle about blowback, or no, not even. I think it's the CIA who wrote a piece about how blowback works.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's easy to sit in a council with your mighty high horse and high morals and just pass like shit left and right.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so to do the honors, I'm guessing that wasn't neither your long or short.
Not for today.
Not for today.
Not
So
for
what is your
today.
long or short?
My long or short? Should we, well, leave the title of the video hanging? We'll save the highway robbery for last.
Let's do that one.
So I am going for my long. And my long. All right, let's see if you can guess. My long is the NASDAQ.
The
Now,
organization?
well, before I say comment on what you just uh, add, because you were trying to add some tags to this video, and I asked you if you can put like Norwegian or Norwegian news or something like that, and you say no, you can only what was it? Do Norway?
Add
No, I can't
languages?
remember. Anyways, so with thinking about NASDAQ, I'm long the NASDAQ, and it's something to do with Norway. Go ahead.
I don't
What
know.
does
Norway is pulling all their Norwegian companies from the NASDAQ?
no.
But that doesn't work because that would be their American subsidiaries. Uh,
Yeah, not it.
NASDAQ is opening up their own offices in Norway?
Uh, now you're getting hot. Now you're getting hot. Uh, I don't know if I should give you a hint, maybe. I should probably have some prepared. But I can add another piece of information that the NASDAQ is thinking about making an acquisition in Norway. Because the NASDAQ is a company of itself
Yeah.
like, what's it called, brokers the stock market or hosts the stock market.
So I
So what
guess
could
the
be
NASDAQ are trying to take over the Norwegian like stock market.
fucking A, man. Now I can't wait till I have to guess yours.
All right. So yeah, give me the breakdown. What's going on here?
The Norwegian stock market is a publicly traded company, so anybody can buy a piece of it. And recently, there's been uh, two big buyers who have tried to make an acquisition of the Norwegian stock exchange. And God, I wish I had written down what the other partner was. I believe, if I'm not totally mistaken, it was actually the German DAX that tried to make a stake in it.
Yeah.
But now it looks like the NASDAQ has the highest bid at the moment, so it's still up for the board to decide if they're going to accept it or not.
But wait, is this your long or short?
This is my long.
Okay. So you're long NASDAQ.
I'm long NASDAQ, or more specifically, their NASDAQ's acquisition of the Norwegian Oslo Børs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so far, or should I continue a little bit more?
Yeah, you can continue.
So, I mean, this is not a small bid for the Norwegian Stock Exchange, obviously, because I mean, it's the center of cash flow in the universe. It seems like, especially if you're tied up within the stock market world. I mean, this is cream de la cream.
Yeah.
This is a lot of influence. This is a lot of power. This is a lot of knowledge and information. And so this is not a cheap acquisition. And the
Do you have any numbers?
NASDAQ. No, I had numbers, but then I decided not to give you links because I didn't want to spoil. But anyways, the NASDAQ is making a huge PR campaign about this, both in Norway and in America. They lit up the building with Norwegian brown goat cheese, which is like super, I want to say, patriotic and unique to Norway. And they're trying to front that NASDAQ wants to bring more trade and more connection more growth into the Nordics.
I mean, that would
And
definitely happen, but I'm just questioning because all the big players, I mean, if Goldman Sachs wants to get into the Norwegian market, they're going to get into the Norwegian market. This makes it easier for mom and pops because this is going to do that. The trading app I use, which is a Dutch-based trading company, they're now probably going to get access to the full Norwegian market. But as I said, like, I feel like for big institutions, this doesn't really change much. Does it?
Well, I mean, now this is where the speculation comes on my behalf. Because we've had some serious discussions Brexit, and that's sort of up in the air. And Norway is in a unique situation where, yes, we're part of the European Economic Alliance, and yes, we're part of a trade agreement called EFTA with Switzerland, Iceland, Norway, and I think it's Luxembourg.
Yeah.
And we're such in a hybrid situation that if something nasty happens in Brexit and America's predisposition of being able to, come in and develop and build infrastructure and a network, then, if something happens with Brexit and the Europeans are in on the Norwegian market, a stronghold in Europe itself, I mean, a lot can happen here. A lot can happen. A lot of trade can emerge out of that because Norway is.
But it doesn't open anything that isn't already open. It just makes things a bit easier.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm long. Yeah, I position. I think if I was on the board, I would seriously consider it to accept this and what it would mean to my shareholders and my country to build that unilateral, intercontinental, strong foothold with the world's strongest economy.
Yeah. Interesting. I guess we'll have to see what happens. Do you know when this goes to effect?
Yeah, the board is voting on it now in April. I can't remember the date. I think it's like the 7th or something. It's coming up real soon. This has been in the air for quite a while, probably 6 months. But it's really starting to shape into an arrowhead where decisions have to be made. And it's
This
such an
does
interesting
tie
time.
into my short, but we'll get to that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, this might shoot myself in the foot because I'm also long interest rates. So, yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see.
Okay.
Any final inputs or questions?
No, I mean, I guess we can slide over to my short because it kind of ties fairly nicely into my short, to be honest.
All right, cool. We'll do it this way. We haven't done it this way before, but
Wait, okay. What did you want to do instead?
no, I was just thinking since I did my long, you do your long because that's what we do.
Well, I was gonna do my least favorite. My least favorite is my short.
Okay. Gotcha. Not the
Okay.
Cotton Kings.
So, my short is tech industry in the EU. And my initial question that ties back to Norway is why the fuck isn't there a European company that's doing this? And sure, you said the DAX they tried, but do you know why that didn't go through? Was it just that
Well,
they
there's
didn't bid high enough, or do you
Yeah,
know if they
there's
got blocked by regulators?
okay. You might have me on. You might have caught me. I honestly couldn't tell you. The last I heard is that the NASDAQ outbid. But
I'm
if it got
guessing it
blocked,
was actually regulation, the German specific regulations that prevented them. I'm guessing German regulators went in and like, yeah, no, you can't do this, DAX.
hmm, that's strange. But what does that have to do with tech?
Well, I mean, I
Um,
would say running a exchange day, that's a tech company. You're a tech company. You're running databases and data infrastructure.
yeah, okay, in that sense. Okay, I was thinking more innovators of hardware and software. But yeah, okay, I
Well,
see
even
how they're.
so, yeah, where are the new, because let's say you and I wanted to start a stock exchange tomorrow and we had tons of money back in finance. That's not the point. But let's say 2 years into it, and we're getting ready to launch and get people on there, and we would be qualified as a tech startup because we don't have a building. We're not sending slips back and forward. It's not then everything we do from an office. It's all databasing in and out.
Okay, but would you consider tech and IT one and the same?
Tech and IT, yeah. I would consider IT as part of tech, yeah.
Okay. Because yeah, I guess I don't know. I feel like I have those two like a little bit separate in my head, but I might be wrong. Not know what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, I would say, for example, Cisco, the company that makes networking equipment and phones and for companies. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a tech company, right? But they make IT equipment. So I would say they're very interchangeable, IT and tech, yeah.
I guess.
But I mean, yeah, so let's start with Article 13.
Oh,
Oh,
I feel
did
like
you?
you sent me a little bit something earlier this week, and I thought maybe there was a small chance you might bring it up again.
Yeah, did
But
you skim through that and read through that?
no, I read the headline, and then 'cause you sent it while I was at work, and there was no chance I was gonna read that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna bring it up here, but I'm not gonna read through the whole thing.
But okay, am I still guessing though? Tech and Article 13
Oh yeah,
EU.
sorry, guessing. So yeah, sorry. Fuck. Okay, I gotta go away from this now. So yeah,
Okay.
other than sorry, I broke one of them, but I have a few other reasons. Well, they kind of, but yeah, I mean, yeah. So why do you think I'm short tech EU? I kind of spoiled myself.
I didn't. That went so fast I couldn't read that. Um. Well, yeah, you said Article 13, which has to do with, I guess, copyright. Um. I don't know. Can something to do with data not being able to be shared? Because the copyright, and there's a whole big brouhaha about that. Shit, man, I don't know. This gets very detailed somehow. I can feel
It's.
that.
Do you want me to just say?
Go for it. Bring it up again.
I mean, it's just yeah, regulations in general. So the reasonings behind my short is yeah, Article 13 and zooming out from that. The whole reason Article 13 exists is because of the digital single market strategy that our good friend Juncker, the president of the EU Parliament, has started in 2015. But yeah, I mean, going back to Article 13, if we start there. I mean, I don't understand how there isn't more outrage about this, but Article 13, this is like, it's now gonna pass. The chance we had to stop it was there was a vote to have it amended, to have the whole, because Article 13 is just an article in the whole new copyright laws. There was a vote to have it amended to strike Articles 11 and 13. The morning of the vote, someone changed the voting order and 10 votes were cast incorrectly, as in the members of European Parliament said after the vote when they saw the results, like, this is incorrect, this is not what I wanted to vote. But the European Parliament, due to its laws, cannot change the outcome of a law, even though it passed by 5 votes. Well, like, it didn't pass, as in, yeah. The motion to have it amended failed by 5 votes, and 10 votes were cast incorrectly. That was the
That is
last stop. That was the last stop. Article 13 is now a thing.
okay. So go into more details on how does this like prevent speech,
Okay, so
basically.
right now, if I put on music on our stream, then Twitch cannot get sued. I can get sued, but Twitch cannot. As long as Twitch has done, within reason, put in effort to try and remove what has been stricken, especially if they get a notice from, the copyright holder, then they cannot get sued. If Article 13 passes, then the content holder, as in YouTube, Twitter, all these, they can get sued if someone uses content that isn't theirs. So that means every single media sharing website is going to get super draconian. Plus, you're not allowed to link to something that isn't yours. So any description in a YouTube video, let's say we have a YouTube video talking 10 minutes about these different news articles and we want to link them, one's BBC, one's CNN. Nope, you can't. You don't own these places. You can't link to them. Well, you can, but you have to have an agreement with these organizations.
What about in a private chat, a one-on-one chat?
No, because that's not a corporation. This is for corporations. It's monetary. As long as it's there's nothing monetarily involved.
I mean, updating your Twitter, would that be I mean, you as an individual aren't monetized by you as an individual can be monetized by you. So I understand that would be an infringement. But what about me?
This is still content. We are still intending to monetize this. The only way you are allowed, there are a couple of things with copyright laws. In most places, you're allowed to, for example, do parody.
Okay.
But obviously, we don't fall under that.
Okay. And what about there's always theory and then there's practice. How long do you think it will take the European Union to actually implement
within the year?
Within the year? By 2020, this is going to be fully enforced.
Yep.
They have a budget to start an administration around this to actually enforce it.
There's already a commission, the Juncker Commission.
And this is what the EU is prioritizing.
This is one of their priorities, yeah. If we, I have some quotes here from the Digital Single Market Strategy. Let's see here. Okay, no, I don't have that. But they expect that if they do this project properly, they're going to add 4.5 billion euros to the EU market. Their whole plan with this is to merge, basically make digital Europe, there is no difference between .com, .de, everything digital in Europe is the same. All digital laws in Europe, all internet in Europe is the same. And I mean, you have been touched by this commission before. One thing they have actually done, which it would be unfair not to mention it, which you are definitely taking advantage of, is the whole international roaming. That was the Juncker Commission that also pushed that through.
Oh, I see. I see.
So it's part of that whole initiative, and you saw how fast that went.
Yeah, but that only targets big providers of cell phone service,
at this point, it's up to national companies to complain to national governments, and national governments saying we're not going to follow EU law. But at the point where there's protest from national governments, there's the fuck is the point of the EU for not all following the same laws anymore?
So let me ask you, you living in Holland, who just pulled up an article on a monetized website like this Twitch, are you in infringement of what has just been passed?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
but that doesn't go on me, that goes on Twitch. So chances are Twitch is going to go draconian and be like, boom, permaban. We can't risk this. We don't want to go to court.
But I thought you said the whole thing about Article 13 was going to pass it on to the individual rather than the source.
No, the other way around. Currently, it's the individual, but they're going to pass it the other way around so it becomes the source. So everyone who makes a copyright infringement, all those videos you see taken down for copyright infringement. In those cases, currently, the company that made the strike would sue the person. After this law, if that was a no, not even. They just go and sue the European branch. So after this law, any company, well, any company that has a copyright infringement, they just go to the European YouTube and sue them. Be like, why
I
didn't you take this down? Why did you allow this on your platform?
gotcha. Damn.
And obviously, as a result, all these platforms, they're just going to go draconian and be like, we can't risk this. You have one infringement, you're gone permanently.
There's gonna be no content on these platforms anymore.
No shit!
Nobody can participate.
That's why I don't understand how this got this fucking far.
This is just so insane.
And it passed on a fucking technicality. It's like, and everyone's like, oh, fucking Brexit shouldn't happen. They should stay in the EU. No, they should leave. Get the fuck out of that place. They're gonna be a bastion of freedom soon.
Damn.
Like all these tech companies fleeing to Amsterdam, they're gonna like run right back to the UK in like very soon, I think.
Should we be long UK real estate?
Well, maybe yeah, long like UK like commercial real estate, because all those like office buildings that just got emptied, they're probably gonna start getting filled up again if Article 13 starts getting implemented.
Holy crap.
Yep.
Damn, I can't believe it took me that long to get that opinion.
Yeah. So I don't know, if anything, Poland, Italy, and Hungary, they like get their balls together and start, you know, their own leaving processes. And when that happens, hopefully Netherlands and Denmark, they also get some balls and join in.
Yeah. What can I say? I'm hanging out with the Swiss, Luxembourg, and Iceland.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so that's one reason, and I mean that just ties into the overall overregulation that there is all over Europe in relation to the tech industry. I mean, there are no European tech giants. And I mean, to take one example, this is slightly more local legislation, but in 2011, the German Federal Cartel Office rejected the plans for two of their biggest media companies to join together to create their own video on demand platform. A year later in the US, Facebook takes over Instagram. 2 years later, Facebook takes over WhatsApp. And even 2006, you know, Google takes over YouTube. So it's just like, the fuck is going on here in Europe, you know? It's,
but I mean,
they're not allowed to consolidate. They're not going to get anywhere either if everything is blocked. Like, when they're not competing on equal terms.
Sure, but I mean, to be honest, there are some tech companies in Europe. I mean, Spotify.
Industrial tech companies, sure, but even most of those are getting squeezed. The only thing we have here is specialization, and that disappears.
Yeah.
And most of it is over-regulation to one extent or another. And I mean, right now, for example, the EU are going after Google, Facebook, all those big ones because they are tax evading. But all these draconian laws they passed, well, you know, guess who they hurt and who all the lobbies are screaming they hurt? All the startups and small cap, medium cap enterprises. So it's like, you know, the EU are just trying to get tax money, but at the same time, they just neuter the entire future of the tech industry.
Oof. Okay, should we get on to some...
Okay, so I guess, yeah, sure. Those were the shorts out of the way, so...
No, they weren't, because I said my long and you said your short.
Oh, yeah,
short.
True that.
Now you gotta do your long and then I'll do my short. We'll end on a negative.
Yeah? You want to end on a negative?
Yeah, because my negative is ironic.
Okay. Alright, so this time I'll actually let you guess before I spoil anything. So, cotton. I'm long cotton.
Well, I mean, what comes to mind, especially because I work within fishing industry, is we've got a lot of synthetic material out there. Not good for the environment. And so to see a natural fabric like cotton being more and more prevalent rather than synthetics sounds pretty damn awesome to me right about now. So I hope it's something along those lines.
Okay.
Am I close?
I mean, there's definitely growth in the cotton market, but I don't know. I feel like is cotton water resistant? Can it like last in the water in that way? Doesn't it like
No, I
organics
mean,
break down? Isn't that the issue?
I, you're totally right, and that's why it can't be used in fishing particularly. But there's a lot of synthetic fabrics everywhere else in the common day households that you're not aware about. Recycled plastic made fleece
Your
or
fleece, I'm sure if you look
nylon
at it, it's like 5-10%
curtains.
cotton.
Excuse me?
I'm sure if you look at your fleece, it's like 5%, 5-10% cotton. I mean, there's cotton in like everything.
There's cotton in it, but I would like to see more of it rather than the plastics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's curtains and blinds and carpets, and I mean, if you put some more cotton into stuff, or I don't know, I'm sure there's ways. There's a will, there's a way.
Well, I mean, I would say the way that I'm long cotton is probably both cotton price and cotton producers. So I'm not sure if that means we're gonna see more cotton or less cotton, but
But so I'm onto something. It's actual the commodity cotton, right?
yeah, yeah, it's the commodity cotton we're talking. Yeah.
Okay, okay. But could something be going on with the weather somewhere in the world where they produce a lot of cotton?
No,
It's
it's
not.
it's 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 more general things. Well, some specific things, but more general things. A little bit. One of the points I have here has to do with the stock market.
Okay. Hmm.
Recent IPOs.
Recent IPOs of cotton.
Well, what companies have recently IPO'd?
Oof. Dude, I don't know. I'm in my own world.
Stand up?
Stand up?
Yeah.
You
Just for
physically
a
stand
second.
up?
Just for a second, yeah.
Why? So everybody can see me?
Your pants turn around. What brand are they?
A brand that you never heard of. I promise you that.
Okay.
Henry Choice.
What I was getting at is if there was a big like leather patch that said Levi's. Levi Strauss went public this week.
Ah.
So
Ah.
that's one of the reasons why I'm long cotton.
I see. Well, okay.
But I have a few
So
more if you want to keep guessing.
Levi's went public. That doesn't necessarily mean that their sales are going to increase, which is going to increase the demand of cotton. So,
I mean, they're definitely doing good. They're like more than I think it's like 1856 or something like that that they went that they started. So I mean, it's an established long-term company, and I feel
it
like
absolutely is.
that they
And
go
maybe
public is just an indicator that things are good. I would say.
uh, I would I would beg to the contrary. If you go public for so long, then
I
why are you
mean,
going public to raise capital?
we can look at it. Okay, their PE ratio is pretty horrible. It's at 21. But I mean, they have a assets of 3.5 billion and an evaluation of 6.5 billion. And they have grown their sales, I think it was 20% over the past 10 years, where their revenue has increased by like 40%. Like their revenue increased twice as much their profits increased twice as much as their revenue. So not only
Ah,
are they increasing in sales, but they're also like figuring out how to get more profitable with that.
cutting overheads.
Yeah, 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 indeed. And
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
I
know,
hope
I
that.
would say, as the middle class emerges in both India and Central and East Asia, I feel like as, stereotypical and ironic as it is, blue jeans, that is kind of like the definition of I now have personal liberty and like economic freedom, you know?
Yeah,
So I feel like it's sort of like the hallmark. If you were to like the uniform of the middle class, it starts with blue jeans for a man. So I feel like that's only going to expand as the middle classes in Central and East Asia they grow and expand.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
guess to go into the other points, I mean, some of the innovations that are happening is, for example, BT cotton, which is a genetically modified strain of cotton, which has gotten pretty far and is now starting trials in a lot of different countries. And unlike, for example, the Monsanto genetically modified crops, which, what they do is they make them immune to glyphosate, and then you just spray glyphosate everywhere. These actually produce their own insecticides, as in they mimic a bacteria that also produces insecticide, so you don't actually even have to spray them with anything. And I mean, this insecticide that the BT cotton, and the BT is the bacteria, which is like Basilicus thuringiensis. But yeah, I mean, that is notably like what it specifically targets is moths, butterflies, beetle, cotton bollworms, and gitu flies, which are, yeah, all the things that, attack cotton. So pretty much
This
soon all the countries that have problems with pests, they can start growing cotton without having to worry about pests, which is the biggest, like, if you're a farmer, that's your biggest worry in those countries. Well,
that's
that and drought, of course.
that's
But
absolutely awesome to hear, man.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool. Because I feel like we hear about all these like modified species that we eat, but this is actually, a
Yeah, who cares?
commodity.
It's on your clothes and it's dead.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not ingested into, my DNA. It's just touching me.
Yeah, 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 exactly. And
That
it
is
being
cool.
a organism and a gene inserted, I mean, I don't wanna I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm assuming because it's fused that way, biologically, that the plant will actually be able to adapt as well. So, it becomes now
Mm.
biological race where we don't have to invent new chemicals because, like, the plant should start adapting, just small random mutations. Oh, now this poison works better. And then, you know,
Right. But so what about the ecosystem around it? I mean, obviously there's critters that live off this whole ecosystem. Could this be have a devastating effect at the end?
already the biomass of our insects has decreased by about 3% for the past 10 years.
Damn.
And we have no fucking clue why. We're losing a lot of fucking biome. Well, we do have. Well, there's no certain answer, but it's not only the bees. The bees are just noticeable.
All
It's
right.
this is happening to pretty much all insects. So yes, but I still think doing this biologically in the long term, I still think that this is better than spraying because this doesn't have runoffs in the same way. I mean, the big problem with spraying is that it doesn't stay localized because
Hmm.
pesticides and fertilizers and all these things aren't a problem if you could keep it all in a local system. The problem is
You're
the
on something
runoffs
there.
and yeah.
You're onto
So
something there. But what if this like all these genetically modified crops and organisms, get leaked into the wild and then start reproducing wildly? You know what I mean? Then you're fighting nature on both fronts. It's not confined anymore. Should there
well,
be
I
rules
mean,
on to sterilize this so it can't spread?
chances are the company that's made this. I didn't look into that specifically, but I'm guessing they have made it so that it's sterile and can't reproduce, just like Monsanto seeds that you have to buy the new seeds from them every year.
Right.
But obviously, there's still plants have still
So,
been known to be able to transfer genes horizontally without between species without any like contact other than just like I don't know
mm.
fucking whispering to each other. Fuck knows how they do it.
Uh,
But
but so what you're saying, there's a commercial interest to actually stop this.
yes, definitely. This is that as far as I could see, that was a company that was making the BT cotton. It's not a organization, so there is a
Right.
commercial interest in it. Yeah,
Damn, that is awesome.
yeah.
But do you think there's gonna supply and demand now? If you think there's gonna be more cotton in the world, do you think there's gonna be more Yeah, obviously you said the booming middle class in.
Well, I mean, we can go over that. So, mill use. This is how much mills, as in cotton mills, are using a year. In 95 to 96, it was at 86 million bales, and these are 480-ton bales. No, pound bales. And in 2017 to 2018, it was 122.5 million bales. So that's an increase of 40% over 10 years, or, no, over 20 years, or 2% year over year increase in cotton use worldwide. And with that, yeah, cotton price right now is at historical highs. We have been underproducing for the past 4 years.
Wow.
Big part of that is developing nations. We are pushing out the developed nations. We're pushing out a lot of the underdeveloped nations. They can't afford to compete anymore, and because of that, a lot of those farms have shut down.
Well, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Very, very fascinating. Very cool doing that. I wonder what other kind of fibers they can do to make, less or more profitable and.
Well, that's what I'm guessing, because obviously, as I said, prices are historically high right now, but production hasn't. Well, I mean, we had historic high production. I think it was like 5 years ago, and at that point, we had like dump low prices. I'm guessing that's when a lot of the developing world was pushed out. And obviously, it's a lot harder for, a lot of those subsistence farmers to swap between crops. So I'm guessing once, they swap crop, they stay with that crop because they can't afford to have a maybe crop next year.
Yeah, shit, man.
But, with developments like this, and governments, with developments like this, they also love it, say, oh, we have this new green thingy. So I think with this developments in, among other things, genetically modified cottons, we're going to see the developing world start to produce again. So, I mean,
Fascinating.
other than that, the other bigger problem, I don't know if you even knew this, but with denim specifically, and also with cotton in general, the process of treating and bleaching and dyeing it is extremely water and energy consuming.
Yeah.
So, DuPont, you know that company?
I
Company
do,
owns all
indeed.
the plastic patents.
Yeah, if you want to elaborate for our viewers, you should do that now.
Well, I mean, yeah, DuPont is just the biggest research company within oils and synthetics, and own pretty much all patents within oils and synthetics.
They're a chemical company,
Chemical.
right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
But I mean, they do produce, but the majority of their work is research and development.
So they lease out patents and own rights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed. So, I mean, yeah, what they are working on right now is an enzyme called Primagreen, which it's an enzyme, and you just pop it in, some water with the cotton, and with different formulas of this enzyme, it can both, treat, bleach, and dye the cotton for a fraction of the energy consumption and water consumption.
So
It
this
takes a
thing,
lot longer. That's the downside.
but since this thing is an enzyme, does that mean
Enzyme.
like, yeah, sorry, does that mean it grows? Does it spread? I mean, an enzyme, isn't that living creature, so to speak?
No, they are like scissors, biological scissors.
Okay.
So,
So, I mean,
and
okay.
no, enzymes are like biological. They are not living things. It's like
Oh,
I can't find a. Let's see. Enzymes are macromolecular biological catalysts, enzymes accelerate chemical reactions. So yeah, that's how you would, yeah, a biological accelerant.
Huh, but I mean, okay, I might be an idiot here. How does that make stuff turn color if it's just a catalyst to a reaction?
I
Like,
mean, I'm guessing the answer is so complicated that it took
uh,
us like, 50 years of advanced molecular knowledge to get to that. I don't know the specifics. All I know is, yeah, they're currently developing an enzyme that can do all the things that we're not doing mechanically for a fraction of the energy and water cost. But
fuck,
how, like, mechanically that happens down on that molecular level, that's out of my realm.
God bless them. That's all I
Indeed.
gotta say.
Indeed.
Jeez, people are so smart. Here we
Yeah.
are, like idiots.
But mix these two things, and suddenly, rural bumfuck nowhere, as long as they got a connection to the internet, they can grow cotton that's basically pest free, and they just need a vat and some of those enzymes imported, and they can, without a big, infrastructure, bleach, dye, and treat it, and sell it to the market.
Damn, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure cotton. I mean, I worked within textiles. At least the textiles I worked with, they come in their natural white color,
The
and then you have
white
to
cotton
dye
has
it
been,
to create your what's it
yeah, but
called?
that cotton has been treated already.
Yeah, but not dyed. I don't know. I guess it depends on product. I guess I'm talking.
Hasn't been dyed, but it's been bleached.
Right.
Bleaching is very environmentally unfriendly.
Yeah, but it's not as energy intensive as dyeing.
No, but you have to bleach it before you can dye it. That's
Right,
part of
right,
the treatment.
right. Maybe they'll create a white enzyme that makes.
No, yeah, they already what the what part of the enzyme process is, yeah, they can also, yeah, bleach it with the enzymes.
I see, I see. Or skip that process, maybe?
No, the enzymes, they just do the bleaching process, and then because they're biological and they break down, you can just throw it in the river and they're like, you don't harm anything.
Right. Turn the whole river different colors.
See, I don't think it would, because if it doesn't have any cotton, if it's specifically designed to, interact with cotton, it can literally only interact with cotton. Because, like,
Yeah.
the way I've always been taught about enzymes is, yeah, like locks and keys. You have like a lock on one molecule, and the enzyme can go in as like a pair of scissors and cut off that lock. So they are like, they only, it's like viruses and antivirus, bodies and antibodies.
Hmm.
Enzymes only work on specific things because of the way they're like designed.
I see. Damn. Yeah, I don't remember much of my high school biology days anymore. I've definitely
Yeah.
heard the word before, but I can't remember the specifics around it.
I had a small freshener when I did that. It was a very basic level, but when I did that nursing schooling in Denmark.
Right. Well, all right. Thanks for that input. That was really cool, man. Cotton, huh?
So yeah, that's my long.
That's your long. I
Yeah,
guess is over to my short now.
indeed.
Highway robbery. Should I say more before you guess?
Well, I don't know that the states are taking more money than ever in highway like seizures.
What's my short?
Yeah, so
So,
you're short riding on the highway because you're gonna get all your money taken.
well, yeah, again, but
Hmm.
now tie it back into Norway some, because all both mine are about Norway. Recent, very recent, contemporary news from Norway.
So I guess only just now has Norway passed similar laws where the police can do that.
About no, I mean, highway is a metaphor, and the metaphor is for how the state-run news is financed. Highway robbery. Can you guess it now? Why I'm short?
Oh, well, I guess they're gonna remove the TV license, the TV tax.
Damn, 2 out of 2, man. 2 out of 2, and I got none of yours.
Yeah.
But that's exactly right. So 100 people in NRK, Norsk Krigskasting. Yeah, they're firing 100 people who are in charge of essentially demanding payment from people who own a TV. So I mean, you just can't see my TV. It's bent around there
Yeah.
against the wall. But I actually have my TV like I can't no, I don't know what it's called in English, but plombert. It means there's something inside the TV or taken out of the TV, so I can't receive signals other than
Lol.
so my TV is not a TV, it's a monitor, and therefore I don't have to pay the license.
Yeah.
So 100 people are losing their jobs who deal with going door to door, investigating if people are not paying their license or not. So that's why I'm short highway robbery, because I'm sorry to say, 100 highway robbers are getting fired.
Yeah, that's
But,
awesome.
yes, but there's a big but here. There's a little bit of a downside as well, though. Because, you know, what's it like in the rest of Scandinavia, Mr. Scandinavian? Sure, you don't pay TV tax. I mean, sure, TV license, but you pay some other tax, don't you?
Well, it's also TV. What's called DR license, which is the TV channel. So you also pay TV license in Denmark. But I mean, in Denmark, it's not. The TV station isn't a state organization. It's just a state-sanctioned organization. So those enforcement people in Denmark, they don't have any sort of legal rights. You can just tell them that, like, no, I don't want you in my property. Go away. You can't prove that I have a TV or a phone or anything. As long as you're not stupid enough to stand there with your phone, then they can't prove it.
Yeah, that's the thing about a phone. Here in Norway, a phone is not under the license per today. But as of January next year, people with phones would be sanctioned to it, just like in Denmark. So it's
and see, then I would just, at that point, you just tell them I have an old school Nokia.
But it doesn't work that way. Everybody, it has to pay. And I think that's the way it is in Sweden. And I definitely know that's the way it is in Finland.
But I'm guessing that the law stipulates specifically that it's devices that have access to a portal or another of this service. So that's the website, the radio, or the TV. If you have an old school Nokia, that can't do any of those.
You just went very silent. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you hear what I said?
Yeah, if you have an old school Nokia, but then you. So the way it is in, at least I know for a fact, our law now, our new law is based off of the one in that they use in what did I just say? Finland.
Yeah.
And the way they have it there, they charge it once a year, right out of your income in your taxes. So it's a individual fee based on your income, despite having any sort of instrument, or a phone, or a TV, or a computer. So I am short highway robbery to, you know, come to my door and crave money. They're just gonna take my money anyway. So
the situation's getting worse, not better.
yeah, but I mean the law is not in
They're scrapping it in Denmark.
as of yet. They're losing the whole DR network.
Pretty sure they're scrapping it in Denmark. Let me just try and see here. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to bring the answer some other time. I'm finding all sorts of answers about doctor licenses.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, screw it then. Because yeah, I mean that's the whole irony behind this because we actually have conservative government power. And the two major seat holders in parliament are Høyre, or right, and FLP, which is another right party.
Yeah.
And both of them in their, I'm going to say, party manifestos, they want to scrap the whole government or tax finance TV stations. But we have two minor parties with about 4% each that are in this coalition. And they are pulling this carpet underneath the two bigger seats for political gain.
I see. Yeah.
So democracy in practice is that, well, even if you have a conservative government here in Europe, you get socialist policies.
Yeah.
But that being said, you know, this is the Liberty podcast report, Valhalla Lite. So, you know, I gotta be short highway robbery and take small victories where I get them. And 100 people fired for committing a lifetime full of crime. That's my short.
It's something. Just wish it was, I don't know, more. I feel like it's like they took away the guns and brought in tanks, you know?
Yeah, but you know, a lot can happen between now and then. You know, a lot of people might be pissed off. Like I said, that to get my TV turned into a monitor cost 3,000 kroner. But a 1-year TV license here in Norway is 3,000 kroner. So I've had my TV.
Why didn't you just buy a monitor?
Because it's huge TV size.
You can buy huge TV-sized monitors.
Okay, now you're making me look like a fool on a stream here.
They're not common, but they exist, and they're cheaper than TVs.
Are you sure?
So you couldn't have gone out to a store to buy it, but you could have definitely ordered one.
I ordered this one.
Let me find one for you quickly here. Doopy-doopy-doo. Monitors. Let's see, size. What size is your TV?
I don't know. About the size of yours?
No.
Oh, you got a new TV.
Oh, the one I had in Denmark?
Yeah.
The one you had, about the size of the one you had in your room as well?
The one I had in my room. I can't remember.
Oh no, we did have a pretty, I think we had the 40-inch in Denmark actually.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So let's see. And how much did you pay for that TV there?
Oof, I don't know. I actually got it.
So you didn't buy it?
No. No, this is what happened. My parents bought a Samsung TV, a smart TV. God, what year was that? Holy shit. That's a huge one. That's probably double the size. Could it be 80-inch? And
Just to show the people what I found here. So an LG 43-inch screen for 7,400 kroner.
Yeah.
So that would be, yeah. Wait. Go away, comma. 760 euros. But I mean, I don't know. Here in Holland, I can find it for 600 euros.
Right. Anyways, I know there is a service down here in town, right on the main street, in a small rinky-dink town in Norway, where you can get your TV put in. I mean, take your TV and he'll like fix it for you to make it a monitor, and then you don't have to pay the tax.
But this monitor is cheaper than the TV you bought, right?
Uh, no, that looks about the same price.
What kind of inputs does this monitor actually have? Holy shit, this monitor is so much better though. Look at those inputs.
Sexy.
So it has 4 HDMI input, 1 DisplayPort input.
But,
Don't know why it needs a fucking USB-C input. Is that power? But AC in, so that's power out? Yeah, it's power out, so you can, it's a charger, USB-C charger as well. And a USB port and a charging port and a headphone port. Oh, and a remote port. Yeah?
Okay, so you have a nice job and you buy nice things, and then all of a sudden one rainy day you lose your job, you get a divorce, you gotta pay this and this and that, you wreck your car, you gotta buy a new car, and this 3,000 kroner reoccurring bill shows up at your door once a year because you gotta pay your TV license. Don't you invest 1 year in downsizing your TV, not by actually buying a whole new TV?
I don't pay the fucking TV license.
Yeah, obviously you don't, but I mean, for normal citizens here in Norway, that might not be, you know, an option.
Well, I guess I am so extreme that my only answer can be that I don't pay for services that I don't use. I might accidentally pay 1 month for it, but then I cancel it. I'm like, fuck, I'm still paying for this shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. My advice would be like, yeah, don't pay it. No, that's not, don't take my advice though. Don't follow my advice. That's what I would do personally. But yeah, I guess, yeah, you pay your TV taxes.
Yeah, I'll see next year when I get my first bill, if I'll pay it or not. Remind, if there's any viewers watching, you gotta remind to ask me if I paid it or not.
You can take a picture, post it on our Twitter.
Indeed.
And then you gotta get a denied rubber stamp, like.
Yeah, right. But geez, if the EU is doing their whole stuff, how are news agencies gonna work? They're gonna be copyright infringing everything. They can't bring up
I
source.
think they have some sort of, like, I think you're allowed to as a news organization because you're bringing a public service.
That's fake news, man.
I know. That's another thing that tech companies are actually complaining about. That the fact, well, tech company broadcasters specifically, one of the main reasons there is no any sort of even close to a Hollywood equivalent in Europe is because we have such tight broadcasting regulations on, among other things, advertising and other things. Which, I mean, sure, you could argue it's good for the consumer, but in the long run, it means that the European media, the European entertainment industry just can't compete with the American one. There is no, like, revenue to get here compared to the American market.
Jeez. Well, that's partly, I would say, or I would speculate at least, is that we don't speak the same language.
No, a big part of it is broadcasting regulations, where the US, sure, they still have a lot of regulations on what you can and can't say and stuff like that, but they have never had strict regulations from a capitalist perspective. So you know how, I don't know, at least as a European, growing up, we always made fun of, you know, when you watch an American show on TV that you can see, like, oh, they had 3 commercials when I only got 1 commercial. So, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
There are, like, strict written laws saying in a broadcast that is X long, you can only have X amounts of advertisements.
Right. Damn. Well, we'll see how this actually plays out with Article 13.
I hope we get protests from, like, I was about to drop fucking dead when I read that article.
It's almost like you don't believe it. You know what I mean?
I don't. This is like, this is
The
literally the worst thing they could do. This is like, oh
the
my god, this
consequences
is,
the consequences are so severe that like you.
yeah, this is like, it, I don't understand what the fuck they're thinking.
I can't see any upside. I've never heard anybody discuss any upsides of Article 13. You know what I mean?
I don't think there fucking are any upsides.
I mean, yeah, this is.
Other than central control.
But is that really an upside? I feel like central
Oh, they can now
control.
sanction the fuck out of alt-right websites that they don't like. Oh, you've got 120 links? Well, I guess who's gonna get sued out of business? And then any sanctioned ones? Oh, you're doing a public service? You're all good. So it's all a measure of control.
But I mean, sure they can try, but you know, you put a wild dog in a cage.
The wild dog is hungry, and I don't know. They're not barking loud enough right now.
Yeah, yeah. And again, this is not proliferated so well on media. So I
So
never heard about it
badly.
until you told me.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy.
so I feel like this has to be implemented in practice, and then maybe we'll see some results of a backlash or blowback consequences of Article 13.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how the legal structure works because I'm still pretty sure the legal structure is that the EU sets up the framework, but that the national governments are supposed to execute the framework.
Hmm.
So I don't think there's an international court or EU court that you can like sue anyone with these infringements with. These are supposed to be handled nationally. So if there's
I
a
think
Danish company, you go to Denmark and sue a Danish company in Denmark in Danish courts, which is why I think at this point it's up to national protests.
But then hopefully local domestic or national sovereignty rules that freedom of speech on platforms is upheld higher than the EU sanctioned copyright infringements. You know what I mean?
But then comes the whole
So
question: if that's true, then what the hell is the whole point of this? Then the EU doesn't have any
it's
power
soft
to
power.
any authority at all.
It's soft power. Uphold this, Spain or Greece or Italy
But I mean, they're
or
gonna start, especially Juncker, as long as he's in charge, they're gonna sanction any country that they don't feel like follow this properly. And sure, it might not
yeah,
be like a sanction, but that will be like you don't get this or this or this that you're
right.
supposed to get.
Or it might not be, I'm not going to sanction you this year, but it's going to be 50 years from now, I'm going to start sanctioning you for not following this rule. So, you know, things are written into law today and they might not play before the next generation.
Yep. Yep. So no, yeah, I am definitely not law in the EU,
Um,
and I just like, yeah, I don't know, the cognitive dissonance with all the people shouting Britain should remain in EU, and then they turn around in the same breath and are like, Article 13 sucks, and it's like, then why do you want the UK to stay in this organization that passes shitty laws? It's like there's a complete cognitive dissonance to what the
yeah,
EU is and what it like represents, or what they
I
think it
mean,
represents.
I totally agree. I do sincerely agree. Because there's a will, there's a way. And sure, the common market has provided prosperity and goods, but just because you get rid of those benefits doesn't mean you can't make benefits somewhere else. And
And the
especially
whole
if you're
point of the common market is to facilitate, not to regulate. There's a big difference.
yeah. Not only that, but I feel like a lot of these left-wing organizations, they're so against old money. They're so against the status quo. And I mean, I thought they would be barking and drooling at the opportunity to get a shift in the system, to get a foot in the door and start something new. I mean, new trade routes, new frontiers, and new markets, and you know, for every individual to try to get more prosperity around them and grow their asset base instead of all these well-established, industrialized big bank routes that keep
But
harvesting the profits.
but see that's also where it's funny because that's where a lot of that cognitive dissonance comes in. Because as much as you say that a lot of people in Europe are against old money, then that's all the fucking EU does is protect old money, old
Yeah,
stinky rotten money. Like
yeah.
protectionist industries down in Italy that wouldn't have survived fucking 50 years ago. And like I don't know, it's just they're protecting and tariffing all these ridiculous stupid industries that there shouldn't exist more than just one artisan who can still do it because it's an historical thing. It shouldn't be a whole industry. So I don't know. It's the EU is so broken. It's
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, everything seems to be broken.
I think it's just patching shit upon shit upon shit upon shit, and no one's willing to scrap the book. It's like we write more and more regulations, and then now you have a framework, and now you gotta twist that framework, and then you gotta twist it again, and it's no one ever goes back and just removes it and starts from scratch because that's not how you do things. So you always gotta add on new laws that can fix the old laws that
Yeah.
can, and it's just like.
Because you're invested. Your reputation is on the line. Yeah, I mean, I
Also,
understand.
that's
There's
just not how the political system works. Deregulation is not part of any modern political system. They're only built to pass new things to add on. So, like, let's say, I don't know, you have a law saying you can only park in the inner city for an hour max, and that needs to be changed, right? Instead of changing that in the modern day, instead of scrapping the law instantly, today we would write a new law saying, oh, you're not allowed to park in the inner city except, and then you just add a new law on top of the old law instead of removing the
right.
old law. But yeah, that's how you fix that one. That's a big question.
You need people of courage and decency, and people not so stubborn they can't admit they're doing something wrong or regret. There's no consequences to making a mistake in politics these days.
Nope.
I mean, the more mistakes you make, the more radical you are, the more ahead. So it's poison at its roots, fundamentally ill off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're gonna take a small break. We'll be back in
Sounds-
5-10 minutes. So,
Yep.
and we're back. So, back from a break, and yeah, thought we'd talk about what we've seen lately. So I guess we start with you. What kind of stuff have you been seeing lately?
I haven't been watching basically anything lately. I've been so indulged in work and life and whatnot that the last movie I saw was probably around. Okay, it says here in my browser that I last viewed this movie Friday, February 15th. So it's been over a month and a half since I watched the movie, which
Yeah.
was Fantastic Beast 2.
Okay. What do you think about that?
I was actually pretty entertained, to be honest with you. I thought it was cool enough. I didn't put too much energy into it. I didn't have any expectations going into it. I feel
Did you
like
watch the
most
first one?
I did actually, and I actually kind of enjoyed that one as well. I appreciate that the Harry Potter realm, and so I don't know. Again, I guess it's just not having any expectations, and then it just
But I
satisfies.
mean, I know you specifically don't like things where there are tons of characters that they don't introduce properly. That movie was fucking overloaded with characters that had no anything. And we're all like, oh, I'm super important because I'm doing all these things, but you're not going to know who I am.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a little bit across that, and I feel like there there are some tiebacks to Harry Potter, and there are some tiebacks to, or at least enough to keep me satisfied from Harry Potter and the last movie. So I feel like it's starting to bridge the universe together.
So then comes the real question. The last scene down in the sewer, yeah?
Hmm.
Really take yourself back to the moment when you were watching
Yeah,
that.
that was probably the worst part of the movie. Now you're talking about.
Why?
Because I don't know, that whole scene was really quirky the way they played it out, and then that one person got killed, and they all stormed off, and how some people, some of those guardians or whatever, got killed. Okay, now maybe we should tell our viewers about a spoiler alert here.
Spoiler alert. I don't care about this movie because this movie is so bad. But yeah, spoiler alert.
It was not a great scene. That whole thing was messy. That fight didn't need to happen, and
But do you
it
want to
was
know why
just
you feel like it's so messy? Because that scene in and of itself, it was fine. But the reason it stands out as so bad is because they used that as the climax. It had no fucking build up at all. It was just like stuff, 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 stuff. Now we're in the sewer. Boom. There was no like, nothing was on the line. There was no build up to it. There was no. It was at the midpoint in the movie. From a story arc's perspective, that was the low point in the movie where the hero gets a slight and rise above the hero, and he takes something from the hero. The hero has his low point, has to regain his. From a story point perspective, that movie was a complete fucking disaster. And that climax point at the end, from a storytelling perspective, was not supposed to be a climax. That's why
mm,
it felt so weird, because that's
mm,
usually what movies have in the middle of the movie, and then after that it would be Scamander's job to pick himself up again, figure out how he can overcome these, grow as a person and a character. But nope, that's where they ended the movie. That's why it felt so abrupt and fucked up and weird. Because again, yeah, a moment like that isn't supposed to stand out that much in a movie because it's supposed to be a transition moment.
right, right.
So no, yeah, I feel like J.K. Rowling at this point is surrounded by yes men, or just like
Um,
everything you do is amazing.
but is she directing it? No, I'm
She's
sorry to say
writer.
that.
She's writing the script.
Yeah, but I mean, the director has some
Can only
freedom, though.
do what he can do with the script. If the script doesn't have a climax, the director can't direct a climax. So I feel like it's the whole story flow.
Yeah.
Plus, not to mention that twist at the end. Oh, you're a Dumbledore. Okay, there was not a single hint or build up or like the whole point of a twist is that you go back and watch them. We're like, oh, I totally see that little thing. There's
Uh,
not a single one of those.
have you read the books?
The Harry Potter's,
Yeah,
I read up until like the third or fourth book.
because I haven't read them myself, but there has been in that movie, especially about, for example, Dumbledore being having a little bit of a gay past. That was very explicit in the books and never in the movies. So I'm starting to think there's a lot in these newer movies that are, hidden in
No,
the books.
well, sure, but then that's J.K. Rowling's own fault. She is direct writing the scripts. There are no books. She's writing these directly as a script. No in between like medium.
Right, I understand, but so these reference points of especially being related to Dumbledore, there might be something written in the Harry Potter books that suggests that without me knowing it, or at least I like to think, because it is the Harry Potter universe. You know what I
It
mean?
could be, but I mean it is also a prequel, so there could
Yeah,
be, but then it would just be some off reference. But they're definitely.
yeah.
But I mean no, I don't think so, because the entire. I mean, I haven't looked too deep into it, but from what I understand, the entire Fantastic Beasts that is just an off reference. In one of the books, there's a reference to a book called the Book of Fantastic, where they just like use it as a prop for to learn some information or whatever,
Hmm.
and that she decided to spin off to its own book. But
Uh,
that in the from the main story, from what I haven't read them, so it's just some short YouTube video at some point I had on in the
yeah,
background.
yeah.
But for I
It's kind of
remember, that's that the whole what she's doing now is just a small spin off, like an off comment.
well, we definitely need to bring this conversation back up when Steven's here because he is our pop culture guy.
I don't think he's read the Harry Potters either, though. To be honest.
Yeah, we'll find out on hopefully Sunday. I'll bring it up
Indeed,
again if I remember.
indeed, indeed. All right, so I don't know. Should we wrap here?
Unless you wanna tell me what I should start watching if I ever have time to watch anything, except for Game of
Wow.
Thrones. I'm always gonna prioritize that out of my life.
I don't know. Then other than that, I would say continue watching the Orville. Support the shit out of that.
Oh
And
yeah. I'm
I
at
don't know.
halfway through episode 10, man.
Good, good. I don't see how
I
you could
put
stop halfway through, but each to their
Because,
own.
yeah, I don't get a break in the day until it's nighttime, and then I lay down on the couch or in bed and gonna watch something. And you know me, I dozy off into La La Land.
Yeah, I still don't understand like physically how that works. Either my brain is on or off.
Yeah, mine has many states of creativity.
So other than that, I would just say yeah, watch What We Do in the Shadows, new comedy show. Definitely make you laugh your ass off.
Oh,
And
yeah, it's the TV show is also called the same as the movie.
yeah, yeah, it's by the same guy.
Cool.
He's not
Act-
acting in it, but it's the
Uh,
same writer and producer.
nice. I really want to watch what's it called again, actually. Um, Concords. What is it called? Flight of the
Flight of the Con.
Concords.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Uh,
good.
it's
Let
really
me
good.
know if you find a good copy of it anywhere.
I recommend that show to my friend Lasse. He loved that too. He fucking laughed his ass off.
I swear we tried to put on an episode of that in Denmark, and he thought it was the stupidest shit he'd ever seen.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But
That
yeah,
guy.
I guess it's like you just kind of gotta like it's so different. You just kind of gotta let it like do its thing,
Yeah,
right?
it's the same with like The Office. I think I watched the first season of The Office like at least 3 times before those characters started growing on me, and that type of humor started growing on me.
Yeah. I
And
don't know. The Office definitely doesn't have a special place. I don't know. Music, I fucking just love music, and the way that show fuses music and
mm,
fucking like comedy is mwah.
mm,
Like for example, I don't know. I know you don't watch that anymore, but the show Magicians,
nope.
the last night's episode, they had a musical episode where I think there was 5, maybe 6 musical numbers. Fucking loved that. It was awesome. They
But they
did
have
White
comedy spin
Snakes.
on
They
it.
did The Pretenders. They did just do awesome fucking songs. And then yeah, it's the actual actors like singing it. This
Was
time
there
it was because one of
comical
them was
twist on it?
well, it's this time it's because one of them was tripping on toads. And
Oh,
no, yeah, she was out on a. It was basically like her psyche helping her and being weird and crazy.
sounds pretty comical.
It's like a mixed I don't know. I just love it. It was awesome. And then the whole way they did like with the visuals and it was just like perfectly done. So I don't know.
I'm
TV
definitely
show
not.
that has music but not Glee.
Yeah, I'm definitely not checking out that show. There's no way in hell.
Dude, I love The Magicians. That show's fucking awesome.
Between, well, okay, what would you rate better? The Orville or Magicians? You had a gun to your head and you could only watch one.
Well, I mean, I don't know because I would rather be a magician than I would want to be a Starfleet officer, to be honest. Wouldn't you?
Not what I was asking. You were gonna watch one, not be one.
That's a big part of the reason I watch things is because, like, I don't know. I emotional connection, stuff,
So
words, feelings.
I guess you watch a lot of porn because you want to have a lot of sex, right?
Well, I mean, I don't watch porn because I don't want to have sex. That would be strange, right?
Yeah, no,
So.
okay.
But no,
alright,
yeah, it's I don't know. It's like with music, you ask me today what my favorite song is. It's one song. Tomorrow it's a different song. It's TV shows are the same. It's like whatever I watch the most recent and spike my dopamines the most recent. That's what I go back to.
super healthy.
Yeah, indeed. So
Soon-
yeah, ask me in 3 weeks, and the answer is obviously Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I was gonna say soon it'll be Game of Thrones. That's gonna be dopamine for the next half a year.
We'll see. We'll see. If it pulls a Lost on us, it might be at the end of this year that Game of Thrones is the worst show of my life.
Or the history of all shows in the universe. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Whatchamacallit,
But, yeah.
Sean Bean comes back as a White Walker and claims the throne.
Oh,
I was playing coy all the time. Just hiding out.
let's not go there. Let's not go there.
That would be an awesome twist, though.
I can feel the internet hating us already. We're public
Alright.
now.
I guess with with that, we'll wrap tonight. Unless you have anything else you want to spice in here.
Negative. Maybe give us an update on when we're gonna be streaming again.
We should be live on Sunday, and then next Friday. I mean, that's again dependent on you.
Well, let me whip my phone out. That's been ringing all day. I'm waiting for a very important email, so I need to have sound on here. And then my calendar next Friday. I will be traveling next Friday, but I will be home next Friday night.
So maybe just a delayed stream.
No, my visit. Yeah, maybe. No, I should be on by 8:15. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So yeah, we'll be on Sunday and Sunday night, and we'll definitely be on next Friday. Maybe half an hour later, but definitely be
Maybe.
online.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add? I heard you say.
No. Yeah, Sunday. Any spoilers, or should we keep it on Sunday?
I think we keep it all spoiler free until Sunday. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Cool. Well, see you all back on Sunday.
See ya.